Hello YouTube. Today I'll be doing a review of this 2024 Chevrolet Malibu RS thanks to Shepherd's, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Auburn, Indiana. So with that, let's get right into the review. So we're gonna start by just going over the exterior of this car, and then we'll make our way into the interior of this thing. When I was in high school, I had a 2018 Chevrolet Malibu. It wasn't an RS, it was a 1.5, but it was kind of close to this one. It was the velvet blue color, it had the same rims, it had a spoiler on it, but mine had more of a duckbill. See this RS, it has more of like a meaner looking spoiler to it. Mine had the blacked out bow ties on it, so it's kind of a similar car. It's also got the same engine, but we'll save the engine for a little bit on this thing. So if you're in the market for a Chevrolet Malibu, there is a couple different options. There's a base model LS that would come with some smaller alloy rims, pretty basic interior, it'd be all cloth inside. Most of these cars are cloth unless they are a 2.0 turbo, but depending on what one you get, it'd have a bigger screen in it like this one does, and it just have a couple more options. So this is a pretty decently spec'd Malibu for what they come. Definitely because it's a RS. That's why it's got the appearance package on it with the black emblems and stuff throughout. But like I said, I had an LT and it had the same rims and a little lower spoiler. The LT package is pretty similar to this RS package. I know the RS is mainly the sportier kind of look that it has, and the shifter says RS on it, so it's pretty similar. When it comes down to options, it's just a little different with the looks of this thing. Just like the LT, you know, you could have got an LT like mine, or I've seen LTs where they have more chromey kind of wheels, no spoiler, they're just more of kind of a cruiser look. You also get the sportier looking ones. Then you get these RSs that look like this. They're the sport kind of version with the 1.5 liter engine. And then you have like the 2.0 Malibu, which is your highest end Malibu. It has the 2 liter turbocharged engine, which all of the Chevy Malibus actually do have turbos, which are mated to CVT transmissions. But that's just a basic thing with these cars. My LT that I had did not come standard with the dual pipes in the back. I ended up doing it to it because I was in high school and I wanted to have a kind of loudish car, and I put a MagnaFlow exhaust on the back of it, which definitely makes it sound a bit different than your normal Malibu. So that's another difference with the RS. In between packages, the 2.0 has different taillights. I like to say they're kind of like Aventador-esque style taillights, where these taillights are the same taillights that have been on the Malibus since this generation came out. All right, here's your 1.5 liter Ecotec 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that produces 160 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque, which feels like a lot more to a high schooler. I mean, it's not like a fast car, it's not a race car, but it gets up and goes for what it is. This engine is butted up to a CVT transmission, and it is a front wheel drive setup. The 2024 Chevy Malibu gets 28 miles per gallon in the city and 36 on the highway, which when I was in school I never got that because I used to drive it like a race car. I actually got, it was like 16 miles to the gallon of one of these, which is, I don't know if that's just like an achievement that it was so bad or if that's just kind of sad. All right, now that we got the hood closed up, let's get into the interior. So here's the back of the Chevy Malibu. It's pretty good at canceling all the crazy noises going around me. You can't really hear this busy road behind me, which is a good thing. Definitely like I remember when I used to have mine. You got this light back up here in the ceiling. You got hooks back here for clothing. Very much the same as my old car. Here's your rear of the front center console. You got a little 12-volt power outlet back here. And this is a pretty roomy car. I'm 5'11". I fit in it pretty good. I've got a decent amount of headroom. But if I was about 6'1", 6'2", you would not fit in the back of this thing. They just aren't that big. So for my size, it's perfect. If you're like Shaquille O'Neal or big or whatever, it's a little harder to fit back here. You do have a good amount of leg room though, and the seat is up a little bit, but that's how I was sitting in it to move it here, so I'd say you got a good amount of leg room in here. Here's your door panels. You got plastic with this neat cloth on it, and then you got a little bit of kind of like painted steel looking material right through here and some chrome. Looks pretty nice. I think the Malibus are one of the best looking smaller cars in this segment. They're decently reliable. Like, pretty common thing to look out for is the third brake light, which would be right back here. You can't see it in this one, but they do crack over time, and mine being an older one, it did crack. I don't know if Chevy fixed it, but it cracked and it kind of like leaked into the sides and back here. But as long as you know about it and replace it and fix it, then that'll stop it from leaking, which you definitely should do, because I didn't do it. Definitely, if you're in the market for one of these or you own one, watch out for that. Just depends on how much you use your back seats to see it. I load stuff in and out of the back of my car, I sell, buy stuff, etc. So that's how I found out. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have known. So before I forget, let's get out of the air conditioning and show off how big the trunk is. Here is the back of the Chevy Malibu RS. It's really sleek looking with these black badges and the neat RS logo. Really like how Chevy does it with the black bow tie and the chrome around it. Looks really nice. There's your like backup sensors when you're backing this car up. All the Chevy Malibus of this gen have backup cameras, but it's a standard feature in newer cars as of 2018 and later. The Chevy Malibu has a really big trunk. I used to fit 18-gallon containers in this thing. I mean, I could fit two containers back there and like a third one in the middle back here. So it fits a lot of stuff, trust me there. Looks like this one doesn't have the spare tire, but that's where it would be. And back then I was a little crazy, and we also fit one of my buddies back here, and I've got some photos of it because it was pretty funny, and he fit back here just fine. So not to condone it, but it's got a lot of room. We'll just leave it at that. And this was another thing my friends hit. They didn't know what these buttons were. They fold your seats down if you pull them out. And I was driving down a back road, and I ended up having to like stop on the brakes to stop at, I think it was like an intersection or something like that. And both of my seats flew down, and I had a bunch of crap in the back, and it just flew all into the cabin of the car. So make sure not to go playing with these. Make sure they're kind of pulled out. But since I already played with them, we'll show how much room you get once it's all folded down. All right, so to fold the seats down, you kind of put your hand back here, and there's like a release, and you just pull it forward, and you just do the same with the other seats. Boom. And there's a lot of room in here, in my opinion. I mean, it's practically the size of like a Ford Ranger or S10's bed back here. You can fit a lot of stuff. You can fit one 18-gallon container, two 18-gallon containers, 3, 4, 5, and then some. You can fit a lot of stuff in this. It's definitely one of the biggest cars you're gonna get for this price point. Let's get her all put back together, and then we'll start in the front of the vehicle. All right, here's the front of this 2024 Chevy Malibu. As much as I would love to leave this air on so high, because it's like a 90 degrees outside, it's crazy. I gotta turn it down. So the inside of this is pretty much unchanged since 2018. You still got your digital speedometer, but then you also got a normal speedometer right there, which I really liked for a car in this price point. You don't really see that in cars that average between, you know, the mid to high 20s and low 30s. And then here's just like some of your options. There's your trip controls. Here's your cruise control right here and your different cruise control settings. Here's your menu buttons right here, which there you can see your fuel economy, your trips, your fuel range, 241 miles on half a tank of gas, which is really good. There's the average vehicle speed. They do 25.4 miles an hour. That's really slow. There's like a timer, and then there's the speed. There's your oil life, there's your eco settings, and that's pretty much it. And here's the mileage for this thing, 20,454 miles. See, if I didn't have my two gigantic V8s, if I had more money to buy like an extra car that got decentish fuel economy, not when I drive it though, but something like this, you know, I'd think about buying one of these again. They're really nice cars for the price point. I remember back then my 2018 with all the neat sporty stuff on it. This was in like 2019 we bought it, or I think it was 2019, yeah, something like that. It was like 17 grand or 18 grand, which that's a different car market than today. But this one right here is priced in the low 20s, which I still think is a really good deal for a car like this. I mean, what else are you gonna buy that's this new, this nice, has this much stuff in it for that kind of money? Here's your window controls. There's your mirror controls right here. There's my door locks. There's like my headlight controls. There's the like brightness of my gauges. Here's your turn signals. There's your wiper controls. Here's your touch screen, which the Chevy Malibus had two different size touch screens. Mine had this is the bigger touch screen, but then there's also a touch screen that's like, it's like the size of a phone. It's really small. Here's your audio controls. You got full Bluetooth in this car, which is really nice. You can pair phones to it. You can set up maps in them, but you do have to pay for your maps. There's Wi-Fi, there's some settings. You have Apple CarPlay in this car, which is really nice for this price point. Android Auto and OnStar, which that's all you want right there, baby. Can't beat that. So a lot of cars in this price range are typically older if you're looking at other similar-ish vehicles, and they might not have that kind of stuff, but this does, and this is a really, you know, new car. So it's standard, but it's just priced really well, especially in this market. There's your like your setting for if you want your fans up or down. There's some more AC settings. Here's like your seat settings. This car does have heated seats, which is really nice. Mine had that too. They work really good in the winter. There's your AC, and there's your temperatures. Here's like your parking sensors, traction control off, and then here's your like RS branded shifter that you got in it, and then there's your parking brake right there. If we put this in reverse, there you go, the backup camera comes on instantly. Here's your sun visors, there's your mirror, here's SOS, here's like if you want to turn the lights on and off when you get out, here's your dome lights, and here's your glove box. This thing has a really decently sized glove box. I remember mine was always full of napkins and ketchup packets and all that, and it will very efficiently fit all that in it. And then here's your center console, which is also pretty big for a car this size. This isn't a small car. So with that, what do I think of the Chevy Malibu? I think for a first car, it's a good car as long as you don't abuse it. If you take care of these cars, then they easily last you 100,000+ miles. These later year ones, like the 2018, 17, 16, like those years, like the ones I had an 18, those were, I know, a little bit less reliable. You have to kind of do a little more maintenance on them than the typical Malibu. These ones, from what I've heard, these are pretty decent too, just because they've been out for more years. They're kind of worked through a little bit. But that being said, a lot of this stuff in this car has stayed like the same since I had one. So just do your research, get a car that's not beat on. You know, you get a lower mileage example like this, take care of it, do all its oil changes, etc., like you need to. I'm sure it'd be a pretty reliable car for you. So you just can't beat a car like this for this kind of money, especially in this day and age when it seems like any new car or newer car is like a luxury. So with that being said, that's been my review of the Chevy Malibu. I like it. Would I buy one again? Just depends. I probably wouldn't, because I already had one. I dealt with, you know, like the leaky rear window thing on mine, and I also had it in high school. I kind of needed a bigger car afterwards. But for being in high school, it was a really good first car. Even if you're an adult, it's a pretty nice car. It's a full-size car, big car. I mean, you could haul a family around in it, etc. Good for road trips, so still a nice car either way. So that's been my opinion on the Chevy Malibu. Should you buy it? Yes. If this is what you're looking for, I would say this is a good car for your budget or bracket or whatever you're looking for. It's a cheaper priced car, but it's also a pretty nice car for the price. So that's been my review of this 2024 Chevy Malibu. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you really liked it, subscribe, leave a comment. If there's any other cars you guys want to do, just let me know. Thanks and peace out.